On this Wednesday night, the TTC is cracking down on fare evaders with a new ad campaign.
We feel this campaign is very important to let people know that this actually affects service when people abuse the system.
The move comes after 4,000 tickets and fines were handed out in the past 2 months. Plus,
people are just not going to sit by and watch them mistreat municipalities in this way, but frankly mistreat the people.
the city launches a petition demanding the provincial government reverse its funding cuts. And it's been a project rife with delays, but we're finally getting a look at the new Eglinton Crosstown light rail vehicles. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. The TTC wants people who skip out on paying to know they've got their eyes on you. It is rolling out a new ad campaign featuring security video of fare evaders caught in the act. It's all to fight a problem that is costing the TTC millions every year. Hawaii Fidel explains.
Take a look at this video. A man is shown running through a fare gate after a woman already paid. In this video, a different man is seen jumping over a gate when nobody is watching. These are just some of the videos in a new TTC ad campaign that hopes to crack down on fare evasion.
It's not acceptable behavior. Everybody has to pay their way.
The ads will be seen on subway platforms, in buses, and on streetcars. The goal is to raise awareness and remind riders that hopping the gate could land them with a $425 fine.
I hear about it every day from people who are actually paying their share and paying their way, that they're frustrated by this.
Earlier this year, an Auditor General report found fare evasion cost the TTC $64 million last year. Since then, the transit agency has beefed up enforcement, handing out more than 4,000 tickets. But not everyone is convinced it will make a difference.
People always end up finding other ways.
This rider says she sees people sneaking in without paying on a daily basis.
And I've seen people they will be training their dogs to just go and stand right next on the entryway so they can just sneak in.
She's not convinced this ad campaign will work.
It might reduce a little bit, but not to 100%.
In addition to the ad campaign, the TTC plans on hiring 15 new fare inspectors and 21 transit enforcement officers by September. Hawaii Fidel, CBC News, Toronto.
And still with transit, some help could be coming for anyone ever frustrated with their Presto card and not knowing when it was time to reload. By this summer, Presto card readers may soon show your balance.
My understanding is it was part of the plan. It was just a piece that they hadn't rolled out. So as I said, the rollout of Presto has been very bumpy, and we're still testing the system. Even in some cases at the beginning, we were having trouble with the gates. A lot of that has been rectified.
The existing equipment is capable of displaying account information. The city just needed Metrolinks to enable that function and roll it out. Now, once that happens, the TTC chair says users will be able to see their balance after swiping their cards on buses, subways, and streetcars. Robinson says the technology will collect data on where passengers are coming from and what neighborhoods are the most busy. She says that data will help with the TTC service expansions. Well, more signs tonight that Toronto's rat problem is getting worse, or at least more people are noticing them and posting their complaints about them online. There is one particular alleyway near Bathurst and Bloor that's making a lot of people squeamish, including Amukta Gaberselassie, who looks at the advice the city is getting to deal with its rat problem.
One by one, these rodents started to show themselves today.
There's a bunch underneath there, I know.
Oh, yeah. We'll just stay back here.
This is nothing compared to what Christian Boback caught on camera last week. At that time, the rats were running this alley.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Large rats, small rats, tons of rats, just lots of them. Almost a carpet of rats. And they weren't even worried about any activity over there. A lot of people were passing by, and I wasn't the only one that saw them.
He was also not the only one to film them. Nick Wands got a close-up of all the critters just a couple of weeks ago.
I heard the screaming. I didn't know what I was going to see. I just was like, what is in here? There's got to be a few of them, because at least a dozen jumped out, or half dozen. So it's I wonder. And then the pop in, it was oh, that's a lot more than I expected.
And this is just one alley in Toronto.
Oh, he's stuck. Okay, I got him.
Just last month, CBC covered this East York neighborhood's rat complaints. There were more than 450 in 10 years. Across the city, complaints are up, and staff are looking into it.
Council, in fact, asked staff to report back on rat mitigation strategies that we can look at to do with primarily around new construction and contract work that may cause a colony of rats, for example, to disperse elsewhere.
That's just one aspect of it. Part of the research may include looking to other municipalities. Those working on the Vancouver rat project say it's all about being proactive.
You can certainly use these other approaches that we've been using. Poisoning can certainly still be implemented, but unless you're addressing the underlying sources of a rat infestation, so the food and where they're able to burrow and live, you're not addressing these core issues that are allowing rats to thrive in the first place.
You can see one of them right there, right now. Now, this is actually a public laneway. We've been told that city staff will make their way here to try to come up with solutions, work with the restaurants in the area to make sure that this is rodent-free. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
Nick Cernkovich is here with his first look at the forecast. We're going to need an umbrella as we step out of the house tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does come with warmer temperatures, something we've all been waiting for, most of us anyway, I'm sure. We've got heat and humidity moving into the GTA. That, however, will fuel some thunderstorms for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. For southwestern Ontario, it starts in the morning. For the GTA, it starts sort of late morning, and the risk for some pretty heavy downpours here and also some locally strong winds as well. Into the afternoon, the model's not picking it up very well, but I think that will be another line of showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon, and then it clears out for Friday. Here's a look at your forecast through the next 24, 12 degrees tonight. Fog patches developing, though, for the morning commute. 24 degrees, feeling like 29 by the afternoon, and again, that fueling some thunderstorms. Your full forecast in just a bit.
Okay, thanks, Nick. Bye. Mayor Tory is taking his latest fight against provincial cutbacks to the public. City Hall is asking residents to sign a petition demanding Premier Ford's government change course. There are already thousands of signatures on that petition, but as our City Hall reporter Lauren Pelly tells us, the province is showing no sign of backing down.
Would you sign a petition like this? Do you know what's going on?
I do know what's going on. I probably would sign it.
I think it's a good idea because these cuts are going to impact people of Toronto.
I'm definitely in favor of reversing the cuts to public health and all the other cuts that the government has made, for sure the Ontario government has made.
Would you consider signing a petition to tell the province that?
Yeah, for sure.
Since the city launched this online petition at 9 a.m. today, more than 5,000 people have signed it, all calling on the province to reverse a slate of funding cuts.
They're starting to feel some heat from people on this, and I think we've got to turn that heat up.
Mayor John Tory and other city officials say funding changes for city services like public health and childcare total nearly $180 million this year alone.
People are just not going to sit by and watch them mistreat municipalities in this way, but frankly mistreat the people by thinking they can bring in cuts midway through the year and that nobody's going to notice.
But the blowback is growing. Ford himself was booed at 2 events this month.
The Honorable Doug Ford.
First at the Youth Special Olympics opening ceremony.
Boy, you know something? I haven't heard that much energy in a long time. My friends.
Then yesterday at the Collision Tech Conference.
I'd like to introduce the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Thank you for the warm welcome, my friend. Just want to welcome Premier Higgs.
Back at Queen's Park today.
Premier Ford, any thoughts on the city's petition?
We have no comments right now.
But Ford's office did provide a statement implying the city, not the province, will be to blame for any service cuts. If the mayor decides to cut breakfast programs and childcare subsidies or raise taxes rather than find savings, that is his decision.
Instead of the fact that there were no tax increases.
Mayor John Tory says forcing those choices onto municipalities was the province's plan all along.
And they kind of pretended there were no cuts. And then what's happened is day after day, night after night, weekend after weekend, more letters and envelopes and emails and smoke signals come out of there saying that there's cuts to everything. And you know, nothing is left unscathed.
Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Some Toronto students may soon be missing out on a chance to learn more about the outdoors. The Toronto District School Board is looking at shutting down its 4 outdoor education centres. The $3 million in savings would help it deal with a $67 million budget shortfall. Kelda Yoon has the details.
Okay, a variety of plants and flowers.
What's unique about us is that our playground is the city.
These grade 7 students are ditching the classroom for fresh air today.
It's just like a different way of learning instead of like always being inside.
It's all part of the program at the Toronto Urban Studies Centre, tucked inside Danforth Collegiate.
They're doing a neighborhood survey of front yards, and they're looking at reducing stormwater runoff and creating habitat in the urban environment.
Chris Metropolis has been an outdoor education teacher here for 15 years, but that may soon change. The TDSB runs 10 outdoor education centers, 5 day centers, and 5 overnight ones. It has proposed 3 day centers be shut down, including this one.
We're obviously devastated. We are a low-cost trip for many inner city schools. We get them looking at the city in ways that they never do.
One overnight center is proposed to close.
It's a labor of love.
Jalyn Bosley used to be a TDSB teacher but quit and started her own outdoor education company almost 20 years ago, taking students on overnight excursions to places like Algonquin.
And I think I really asked myself, you know, how are these young people today going to care for the environment when they're older if they don't have immersive experiences in it where they learn to really care and love the lands? I'm really hoping that somehow through all these cuts they can navigate and find their way to stay open and stay transforming young lives.
But TDSB Chair Robin Pilkey says, unfortunately, the board has very little wiggle room.
We live in an urban area. Lots of kids don't have access to outdoor education experiences, and if we choose to keep those open, it might mean that we have to take something out of classrooms. We're going to have to make some hard decisions, and I can tell you nobody will be happy in the end.
There will be 2 more public consultations before the Board of Trustees vote on the final funding proposal on June 19th. Kelda Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Package was of concern, and there was a note on top of it that indicated that there was a bomb inside.
A major scare at a Leaside school today forced police to detonate 2 suspicious packages. The message they now have for whoever did this, coming up. Well, this man is Toronto's latest murder victim. Police say 43-year-old Valens Balarich was found inside a home near Bloor and Dovercourt last night. They charged 50-year-old Herculano Pimentel with second-degree murder in his death. CBC News spoke to one Pimentel made a court appearance this afternoon. Police are asking anyone who may have information about what happened to give them a call. Toronto police evacuated an elementary school and a daycare this morning after finding 2 suspicious packages on school grounds. As Greg Ross tells us, police didn't take any chances detonating both packages.
It's a call no parent wants to get. Just after classes started this morning at Bennington Heights Elementary, a bomb scare.
You hope a bomb doesn't go off, and there's 112 kids that go to the school, and you hope everyone's okay, and you hope it's just a prank.
The packages were found somewhere on the back of the property. The school was immediately evacuated along with the daycare, with students being taken to another nearby school. Then investigators moved in along with the bomb squad.
They were obviously concerned about the package, the suitcase, and there was a note on top of it that indicated that there was a bomb inside.
A wooden box with the word fireworks written on the outside was also located. Police say both packages were detonated.
We conducted a controlled explosion on the package to make sure that there was nothing inside that could harm anybody. Turns out that initial package contained a rock, so obviously it was not of any concern or any harm.
In the end, it turned out to be just an elaborate hoax. But this parent says he was still comforted by the swift action taken by the school.
I don't know how long it took them to get to the school, but it seemed like it went really quickly. The kindergartens were driven over there and everyone else just walked.
We started eating pizza and watching a movie.
What movie?
Oh, we were watching Ralph Breaks the Internet.
At this point, police have not identified the person who left the packages at the school, and they're not saying whether or not that person will be facing charges. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
We've got our first look today at the new light rail vehicles that will soon be traveling on the Eglinton Crosstown line. It's taken a while to get to this point. Construction started back in 2011, causing disruptions for people who live, work, and drive along Eglinton. As Lisa Shing tells us, Metrolinx insists the line is still on track to open in a few years.
A first look at the new Eglinton Crosstown light vehicles, similar to a Toronto streetcar, except doors on both sides.
We're very excited to see the vehicles live in action.
But Metrolinx's CEO started with a bit of a different tone.
I want to thank Bombardier and David van der Veer, who's here today, for delivering these vehicles close to schedule.
He's referencing delay after delay. In the winter, the due date for the first 6 LRVs was pushed back several times. The final date was supposed to be February 1st, but half didn't make it on time. Bombardier paid a penalty, but officials would not say how much.
I think it's fair to say that we've recovered the schedule from a place where it was really not looking good.
Metrolinx also had doubts the company could fulfill the orders, and after a long back and forth, it settled on fewer than it initially requested. There have also been delays with the project itself, built by a consortium of construction companies called Crosslinks. Last summer, it sued Metrolinx, saying it needed more time and money. Metrolinx tapped into its contingency fund and extended the deadline by a year to 2021. And this fire at York Memorial Collegiate, right by the new Keelsdale station, caused a 2-week delay in construction, but officials say they'll make up the time.
We had a lot of water and debris around our area, and we're still cleaning up through it, but we're continuing on path to deliver the program as scheduled.
The projected cost of the project is $5.3 billion. Now, we asked officials for an update on that today, and all they would say is it's currently within budget. Now, keep in mind, Metrolinx had to pay $250 million to keep the project on schedule. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, there's a live shot at our city tonight and another unusually cool spring day, but there's a warm-up on the way. Nick is back with your full forecast after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Game 3 between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox going into extra innings tonight thanks to a late comeback here by the Jays. 8th inning, Boston's up 4-2. Justin Smoke right here clocks a solo home run to right field. And then bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, men on third for Danny Jensen. He delivers with his game-tying RBI, goes to extra innings right now in the 12th. Jays just tied it up once again, scores 5-5. Nick is back with his extended look at the forecast. I'm rubbing my eyes during your previous one there. I think I saw a 29 on the screen for Humidex.
You did. Your eyes are not deceiving you, Mike. Humidex of 29, maybe even 30 in some places across the GTA. It is going to feel like summer tomorrow, and it is coming with summer-like weather as well. We're going to hop right into it. This line of showers or thunderstorms is going to move through the region starting tomorrow morning in southwestern Ontario. Then by the time we hit the late morning, around 10, 11 a.m., we'll see showers, some isolated thunderstorms moving across the GTA. What I am watching, though, and the model's not really doing a good job at picking it up, is through the early afternoon, I think we're going to see another line of showers and thunderstorms move through in advance of a cold front, and that is where I think we'll get some heavier downpours and some strong winds as well. It clears out later in the day tomorrow. Some cloud cover for Friday morning, but then we're back into the sunshine again for Friday afternoon. The warm weather, by the way, sticks around all the way through the 5-day forecast. Southwesterly winds are going to help us bring the temperatures up, but also the humidity as well for tomorrow. By the afternoon, looking at 30 gusting 50 kilometers per hour, and then shifting out of the northwest where we'll get a little bit in the way of drier weather moving into the GTA. For southwestern Ontario, look for morning thunder showers. We're talking about 6 a.m. or so through till about 10 a.m. Fog developing through the overnight, temperatures at 14 degrees. By tomorrow afternoon, again, Humidex approaching that 30 mark, gusty southwesterly winds, and the thunderstorms ending late morning, and then we've got sunshine and highs to about 24 degrees. Similar temperatures for the GTA. The timing of the rain, though, changes just a little bit. Fog through the overnight, then late morning showers, thunder showers rather, developing. Into the afternoon, fog will dissipate, southwesterly winds again with temperatures around 24 degrees. And your eyes were not deceiving you, Mike. Feels like 29 tomorrow with the Humidex. Friday, 21 degrees, a little bit in the way of drier weather. Some rain showers with another system moving in Saturday. Not an all-day event, but at least for the first half day. And sunshine for Sunday and Monday with seasonal or above seasonal temperatures.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a stretch of temperatures in the 20s.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
You bet.
Really impressed because we had such cold weather. I was wondering if we would have much going on, and then it's almost better than other years.
Well, thousands of visitors set attendance records at Ottawa's annual Tulip Festival. Despite the unusually cool weather, it seems those tulips are partial to a late, wet spring, so of course this season has been ideal. Visitors say the blooms were spectacular this year. Several hundred people showed up to admire them, making attendance the best it has been in a decade. As an added bonus, because of the late start to spring, the tulips will last several more weeks.
He was staring daggers at me all the way along the trip, on a few of the trips. I took many hundreds of images, and luckily I got one that turned out pretty much exactly the way I wanted. I had to crop it out. He was a little further back than I would normally hope, but it turned out wonderfully.
Did it ever? This incredible photo of an eagle flying over a lake is making quite the splash online. Amateur photographer Steve Biro took the incredible shot earlier this month. He was at the Canadian Raptor Conservancy. That's just west of Port Dover. Since Biro posted it, the photo has made it to the front pages of Reddit and even USA Today. While Harry Potter fans are raising a butterbeer tonight, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child will be making its Canadian premiere next year at the Ed Mirvish Theatre. The play is based on a story by J.K. Rowling. It's set years after the books. This one focusing on Harry's son Albus as he struggles with his father's enormous legacy as he heads to Hogwarts. There's no word yet about when tickets go on sale or how much they'll cost. Keep in mind, though, the play is in 2 parts, so you'll need tickets to 2 performances, likely on different days. That's over 5 hours of theater. You might just need a time turner to fit it all in. And with Harry Potter and Hamilton, next year is going to be a big year for big budget theater in Toronto. It could rival the days when we saw Phantom, Les Mis, and Miss Saigon ruling our stages. That's our newscast for tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11.